All right, everyone, good to see you again. Thanks for checking the video out. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so yet, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, leave some comments below. I love the interaction in terms of what I'm doing good, what needs improvement. Just to keep that line of communication open if we can do it. So I really do appreciate everyone who's viewed, everyone who's participated. I really do appreciate it a lot. What I wanted to do quickly here today was, I'm not going to dive really deep into this, but it's more of just an exercise for you and maybe how you go about practicing scales, basically. What I want to go over can be used, as far as I can tell, it's good for any scale you might be practicing for the most part, whether it's a major scale, a minor scale, a pentatonic, minor pentatonic, the modes. It just gives you, it's a way of looking at the scale as not just a bunch of notes, right? It just kind of gives you a way of looking at those notes in a different way, and just kind of get you thinking a bit. When I first started playing, I wasn't learning, okay, what are the intervals, what are the notes? I saw a scale, I saw the dots on the tab on paper, and I just memorized the pattern. So for G major, and the only reason I'm picking G major is because where it fits in on the fretboard, and typically when I'm doing any type of lesson, I'll stick with G major because it gives me a lot of fretboard to use as I go up, right? But G major scale, right? Pretty much how you learned it, right? And then you go back up the other way. Great, you learned it, you know something in the box. But as you look into this further, you realize, at least you should realize, there's actually two octaves here, right? The first one, you're going to start on your root, which is your 1. And right there is your octave, right? So that's just one, that's a scale. What I never really dove into a whole lot further was, well, you can use this octave note here and just do that scale again. Now, obviously, I've played those notes before, but it was just in how you went about thinking about it and processing that information. Here's one scale. And we're so used to starting on these 6th string and 5th string roots that it's muscle memory, which is good because you're learning where everything is. But I think I would challenge you to maybe get out of starting on that 6th string note and start on the octave. A little bit tougher than you think, probably, if you've never approached it that way before. So why is this important? Well, I think it's important because it breaks you out of this pattern you're in, where all you do is look at this as a scale. Right? It gets you out of that. So it gives you a chance to realize that's one scale, but let's play it up down here, right? So it just gives you a different starting point, and now you start to see things a little bit differently on the fretboard. That's all I'm really trying to show you here, is that there's no right or wrong way, but it's just a different way for you to really maybe attack the scales. Let's do a minor pentatonic, right? This one always kind of got me, not always got me, but as I thought more about it, right? If we're going to be in the key of G, let's just stick to the relative minor, which is E minor, right? But let's do a pentatonic pattern. Right, that's pretty much how we learned that box. We weren't really learning what the notes were so much, at least I wasn't at first. We're just kind of trucking through these 5 different notes and repeating them and just using all the space we have on strings, right? I wish I had learned this a little bit differently last time, or at least earlier, I should say, because it's all about that root note, that tonic note that you're starting on, right? For this particular one, minor, it's an E. So if we just kind of went over, if we take what we learned here and just apply that here, those are your 5 notes for the minor pentatonic, right? And the great thing about, for me, learning it this way, or at least going over it this way, is that you're training your ear to hear what that I guess root note is for that scale, right? E minor, or E I should say. But again, we all learn, again, I keep saying we all, but I know I did, I'm sure a lot of us did too. We just kind of go through all those notes. Now, that note is in the scale, obviously, but when you land on it, you're landing on the major, which is the G, so it doesn't quite give it that minor sound anymore. So it's not wrong, but it's just not quite the way you're hearing how that scale should be. It should probably just go like this. And then come back up. Right? So it's the E, it's the 1, the flat 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, I guess the flat 6th, and then the root. Right? Or I should say the flat 7th, I think it is. But your E is at that tone you're listening to, right? So so instead of starting here at the top string, start it here. So again, just a different way of looking at the scale and how to kind of tackle it. It's easy to kind of just, again, those roots on the 6th string. Right? It's all good doing it there, but this gives you a way to maybe think a little bit differently about it and just forces you to figure out, okay, here's the note here. Now, what would it be here? Instead of just kind of mindlessly going through it, which is great for an exercise if you just want to kind of do some finger exercises. But this gives you an idea to think about it a little bit differently in terms of just the theory, the intervals. So if you're always doing this, maybe just start here. And here. It's just a different way of looking at the scales. There's no right or wrong way to do this, but when I first started doing it this way, at least, this type of exercise, I'm actually having a problem trying to figure out, okay, where are the notes, and I can go through it top to bottom, no big deal, but when you have a different starting point, you're just thinking about things a little bit differently. So that's what I'm hoping you just take away from this lesson here in terms of the scales. It could be any scale, basically, just a matter of where your starting point is. So give it a shot. Let me know if that works. If anything, at least it's an exercise. Just to kind of, use, all 4 fingers over 4 frets if you want to do it that way. But just something different to look into. So hopefully that was a help. Again, comment below, like the video, subscribe. If you have any comments or suggestions, let me know. All right, until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks.